The name Brother Bilaal may not be a name you heard of, but if you're Will Smith, it's the name of your former friend of nearly 40 years. Bilaal, also known as an industry veteran who has been seen working alongside hundreds of celebrities with his product placement company, has decided that he too has a story to tell. This week, Will's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, would cause an uproar online to promote her newest book. And now Bilaal, who also served as Smith's personal assistant of 8 years, is breaking his silence. To simply put it, meet the man who holds several secrets the Smiths may be hiding from you in the midst of these major headlines. And to his own admission, while calling from a remote location, faces death threats for revealing what he experienced in the inner circle. Brother Bilaal, welcome to Comedy Hype. How are you doing?
I'm well. How you doing, Jay?
I'm good. I'm always looking forward to having conversations like these. In particular, we're talking about Will Smith. We're talking about Jada Pinkett Smith. And you being someone that has known Will for almost 40 years and even working with him for 8 years, I think we're going to get a wealth of insight of what's kind of going on and taking place. But yeah, I welcome you to Comedy Hype.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Love being here.
Before we get into, I think the conversations that a lot of people are even clicked on this video, I want to at least get to know who Bilaal is. From what I've seen on your Instagram, you've been someone that has been working in the celebrity field as well as like Hollywood. But like, who are you if someone didn't know who you were and this is the first time they're getting to meet you? What would you say that you do?
Well, I would say that I'm a lot of people's big brother. That I would say. Coming from Philly, in the entertainment realm, I worked in radio for a number of years. Uh, produced a group out of Philly called CEB, which consisted of Cool C, Steady B, who were local artists. Did deals with Kenny Gamble at Philadelphia International Records. Came to California, and what's so ironic is that in Philly on the radio, I would give gifts to people, right? And that was like my thing to do. But coming to California, it was a whole different experience because it was called product placement. So it got to really, really expand. So as you look at my Instagram and see me with hundreds of celebrities, I'm placing products with them and definitely have relationships with them. I definitely feel people are attracted to energy. So a lot of people are attracted to my energy, and it's like that's a blessing. I can, say that I'm Muslim, and I think that has a lot to do with it, based on character, based on principle, based on just the love of people and trying to be the best person that I could be because coming out the starting blocks in Philly, I was in the streets. And that's another way that I got to know so many celebrities and be able to watch these people evolve like over decades. So when you look at the Instagrams, it's like, damn, this guy with this person, that person, this person, and they all show them a great amount of love that has been nurtured. Those are nurtured relationships.
Now, you mentioned about Philadelphia, and my mind instantly goes to West Philadelphia, born and raised Will Smith. How far do you go back and like, where does that relationship even come from? Like, how did you guys cross paths to become friends like over the years?
Well, when I was working in Philadelphia at the radio station, this was 1986. 1986. Of course, Will had the parents just don't understand, and we just hit it off, man. Like his energy at that time was amazing. My energy at that time was amazing, and it was one crucial thing which made us brothers at that point. There was a situation and at that radio station that I worked at, which someone claimed, they were assaulted by an individual that was with Will that day. And it was a bloody, dirty scene. The guy got basically beat to a pulp. And it was only six people in that room. And when the police and detectives finally came, uh, my version of the story was different from what happened. And we'll know that I was a very trustworthy dude. And the individuals that uh, were accosted that day uh, pretty much deserved it, you know?
So A couple things. Trust is super huge, I think, in any relationship. And the elephant in the room is that we're now releasing a book, right? A book that has a strong title that definitely puts, Will in a maybe at least a vantage point of looking at it. From the outside looking in, people may be looking like, why would a friend or a former friend release a book like that? So what happened in the relationship for you to be like, you know what, I'm gonna drop this piece of work, even though it may put a negative spotlight on my former friendship with Will Smith?
Well, at the end of the day, it's nothing that I've really thought about doing to the last couple of years because this is the first time ever that someone from Will's inner circle have been in Will's inner circle and speaking out. Like I have no NDAs, so I'm able to talk freely, right? And just looking at Will's behavior over the years since he's got with Jada, it's definitely put a strain on our relationship, our brothership, you know. And I've just been holding so many things, but due to recent events over the last couple of years, it's just like, dude, listen, you gotta pull it together, bro. There's at some when you got the bag, everybody gonna be quiet. You understand what I'm saying? I got my own thing going. People can look and see. I, I don't need to know any. I know everybody. You know what I mean? But man, we'll go back 38 years. So the new people that's around him that's getting played very well, they're not going to do anything or say anything to disrupt that bag no matter how much pain and degradation that this man is going through. They want that back. You know what I'm saying? So it takes a real friend to say, dude, you are out of pocket. I have no benefit. I'm not working with you. We're not doing nothing together. Bruh, I know you almost 40 years. You out of pocket. You've been out of pocket. And now you totally out of pocket. And the people around you are enabling you to be out of pocket.
You mentioned something about your relationship because that was kind of my follow up to that, which was, what caused that tension, that riff. You mentioned Jada added some strain to it. What was going on? What about that relationship made you guys begin to like not see eye to eye as you once did?
So prior to Jada, him and Jada having a relationship, I felt Will was pretty much almost an angelic person, right? He just very giving, very like want to help everybody. You know what I'm saying? And um, it made me be a better person. To be in his circumference made me want to. I said there are things in my life that I'm not doing well, and I mean, Will stood on that 24 hours, 7 days a week prior to Jada, helping people, uplifting people, uplifting himself. No matter it you can't it was a job to him to help as many people as he can. And I'm talking about financially, career wise, everything. And when you start to see your friends suffer a great amount of decay, at some point you just gotta say something.
Did you give Will any like bro advice, brother to brother when Jada became, in the picture? Did you like did you see certain things on her end that you felt didn't match the energy of Will? Like where were you as a friend in that regards?
I mean, at the beginning, like I say, I'm from the streets of Philly, so you know I just really believe Jada saw Will as the big lick. You know what I'm saying? The sucker. The easy come up. But at that particular time, you got to let things play out. You can't be like, oh man, I don't like her, this, that. You got to give a person that opportunity. People gave me the opportunity. They could have said, oh, he this, he that, he this. You know what I mean? But people gave me that opportunity. And in life, is about what you do with the opportunity, John. Period. I believe everybody deserves that opportunity, but what happens when you get that opportunity and you fumble?
Just hearing that alone, because what's going on right now in the media is that people are definitely kind of, looking at Jada a little sideways in regards to how she's putting out certain information with Will. I think in return, people are also kind of like, want to support Will and they feel bad for him and they're like, yo, she's doing all these things. But it makes me kind of come down to the aspect of like the importance of choosing your partner. And in this regards, it does seem that people feel that Jada wasn't the best person for Will. Why do you think Will himself is stuck kind of on Jada? Why hasn't he decided to move on? Is it love? Is it something else? Like from your vantage point, why do you think Will continues to stay when, in all regards, he is a global phenomenon and probably could have damn near any woman that he would want?
Very good question. Well, here's the thing. Um, Jada, how do I say this, has accepted things in Will's personal life. And by experiencing that, um, I know for sure that Will don't want these things to come out without question. And I feel that Jada is taking advantage of that. You know, like you said, Will is a global superstar. Will's not a bad looking man. You know what I'm saying? Will got the bag. Oh, he almost had a half a billion. You understand what I'm saying? So why is he taking all this persecution? It's just certain things that Jada have on him that Will don't want to come out. He feels that it would affect his career, his livelihood. And I don't think that's true. Or I wouldn't be putting the book out. It's like, yo, go ahead and let all that stuff out, bro. You gotta let all that stuff out, you know? And to be honest, and if she was a divorce and you want to divorce her, give her all the money. Because what Will doesn't understand, like Will lives in a bubble. This is what you gotta understand. This guy's worth almost a half a billion. He lives in the biggest state in a bubble. So his understanding of the world, the real world, is different from you and I. Like he don't know how much a gallon of milk costs. He don't know how to go in and cash his check, right? He just common thing. Like people gotta think. Like I say, once again, I'm talking from being on the inside, you know what I mean, outward. A lot of people are looking from the out to the end saying, oh, I'm trying to figure it out. You're not going to figure it out unless you live in that $500 million lifestyle, private jets, not going through TSA. You mentioned TSA, huh? Oh, what did they do? That's what I'm saying. So it's like at the end of the day, it's like I'm from the inside out. So when I see things, go ahead.
Well, I think it's great. So I was going to ask you, like, how did you keep your balance in that? Because I think anyone, because Will's been on since he was a teen, right? Like a teenager, he's been on. It's been lights, camera, action. So you definitely can feel a level of detachment from the real world. But how did you, being inside that camp, able to kind of like say, I need to still be connected and rooted? Like, what was that for you?
Well, one thing for myself was coming from Philly and being Muslim, there was always this saying, do for self. So when Will invited me to come out to Los Angeles and work while I was out there on a trip, like kind of begging me, yo, this is where you need to be. This is your growth. This is your development, and this is the bright Will, the shining Will, right? The vibrational Will, and it made me come out and do it, right? And what I saw was is that you got to be strong. You got to know who you are prior to going in, because if you come out here trying to get in this business and don't have an understanding of self, you will be whatever people dictate you to be. So nobody's not inviting you to a party up in the Hollywood Hills and making you do nothing. You understand what I'm saying? People are doing things trying to get on. So you got to know who you are. And for me, it was always do for self. So I always had other businesses that I was working with when I worked with Will. Because my thing is, we always have to do for self.
Being an insider, you have a book that you are releasing again, and the title of that book is Will Smith Demonic Circle. How dark does Hollywood get from the outside perspective?
Well, let me put it like this. When I wrote the book and Jada team, Will team got when I was putting the book out. I mean, it was physical threats, it was death threats. Because this is what you got to understand. It's like If Will is worth a $500 million, how much are the people worth who gave him a $500 million, right? And it's like I look at the people in world circumference now, and once you read the book, you're gonna be like, wow, like it's a criminal element. Like people are really taking advantage of the relationship with Will because they have nothing else. They're not doing for self. So it's like that's the that's what's going to be a come away from a book, not all his man that he known 40 years just put out a book because the book comes with receipts. So let me just share that as well too. So inside the book, as you read each chapter is going to have a QR code, which is going to extend the whole page. So that way you can scan that QR code and look at the receipts that is relevant to the chapter that you just read. So this ain't, oh, it's gossipy, this is that. Listen, you know how many people I know. I could write a book that would be amazing. This book is an intervention.
Yeah. And I'm glad you're mentioning that because yeah, even people watching this, they're probably like, yeah, this person of 40 years, he's trying to ride the wave. Jada just put out a book, and you've been working on this for some time. I'm aware, and so yeah, that's definitely gonna be the perception when people click into it. But hopefully, as they hear more about your story and what you've been working on, they'll understand like, okay, this is coming from a genuine place.
Let me add this in, John, not to cut you off. It's when they found out I was putting the book, Jada book originally was supposed to come out in 2024. They moved the date when they knew my book was coming out. So that's why you see such a massive push, so much drama, so much dramatics. Like this thing is almost like you need popcorn.
Again, from the outside looking in, it appears that Will is such a great person. His energy is definitely felt within his work. So when you see these issues come up, people do blame Jada a great deal because that is his spouse. Do you think that Will made a mistake by marrying Jada?
I will say this. I don't have too many nice things to say about her, but nobody's going to hold the secrets that Jada's holding, right, for this long. And Will got to accept some responsibility, you know? And like I say, as we get closer to the book, people going to be like, damn, it's like you have a woman with a demonic soul leading you. Like she's the leader. What she say go. And this is coming from the inside out, working with her. If she don't like you, you out of there. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't think that, and even with Will's behavior, I don't think no other woman would have ever held them down. And you look at Will's book, he talk about relationships that he done had, and just about every woman has cheated on. Like this is coming from him. This is not coming from me. So that builds certain insecurities within the man. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to look deeper. This is the thing that us as brothers got to come around Will and embrace him. You understand what I'm saying? And let him see the light. Period. Because it's not going to happen the way people. Oh, they're going to get therapy, or he just going to leave. No, it's some underlying issues of why he keeps staying, and that's what needs to be addressed.
Well, I mean, we definitely, it'll be real to also hold his homeboys accountable and just want to know, like, brother to brother, like, were you not checking him at any point? Like, Will, like, because the conversation is people think that Will is simping, is an elephant in the room. Like, you have a woman that's not honoring you the way that you should be honored. As the homeboy, like, you didn't, like, hey, pull him to the side, like, yo, like, what's going on? Like,
We, I'm gonna share part of the book with you. And see, if you're a guy from the street, you know issues to tackle and what not to tackle, right? And something had occurred between them two. I heard Will and Jada having an argument in the trailer on a movie set, and I'm inside the trailer, right? And the things that was said, I was like, I couldn't believe that was said. So I go sit down with Will, and I bring that up. And when I tell you, listen, I almost got the Chris Rock times 12. I was called every mother effer. I didn't even know who this person was. You know what I'm saying? But once again, once that person with that demonic spirit start chipping at your soul, right, you become a very different person, an extremely different person. Here's the thing. There's no way that you were promiscuous, right? I'm not going to say for very promiscuous when you were young. Um, you out in the street wild, you taking drugs, you are alcohol, you all these things. Money only intensifies that. It only takes it to 1,000, right? So even if Will say, "Hey, I like this woman, I'm gonna give her a chance." Once you start seeing alcoholism, once you start seeing narcissism, once you start seeing drug use, once you start seeing, I can't keep my legs closed. At what point do you say, "I've made a bad decision and cut all losses"?
One of the biggest things that first came out when Jada did release her book was that she would reveal that her and Will were separated. Okay, that was like a big shocker for a lot of people. You being someone already close, what did you feel, or as far as witness, or when did you feel like that relationship was finally kind of like unraveling?
Well, it's been unraveling for years from the inside. But when you spending millions of dollars for, uh, your agents, your PR people, crisis management people, and we're going to get into, all that in my book. It's like you won't be able to see how this works. It takes millions of dollars to spin these stories. It takes millions of dollars to set up the right interviews of what can be said, what can't be said. So um, as from the inside, once again, I say that when you have that bag, you're able to protect yourself because people are trying to protect the people that pay Will. Because, like I say, if we're worth a half a billion, how much is the people that are paying him worth? They're gonna do any and everything to protect this man from anything because they pimping him. Yeah, you got a half a billion, but how much did you really make? So at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. All this stuff is detailed and designed. Period. It is choreographed amazingly.
Being someone that has been in the industry for as long as you have, because what I'm so curious about is why with fame and success there comes problems and toxicity. Like for instance, or my question would be, do a lot of like high profile celebrities kind of tend to struggle with something? Why can't they just be rich, famous, and at peace? Why does the problems have to exist? Is that like a character trait? Like narcissism is something I heard you mention in our conversation. Like what is causing that? Why can't they just make their money, live their life, have a beautiful family, and call it a day?
Well, I will say this, brother John. It's I love what you're doing over at Comedy Hype, now Hype Plus, correct? When you get your $500 million deal, bro, let me tell you something. You're gonna have every problem that you have in there. You know what I'm saying? So it's all the same, bro. It's like, I've seen so many people elevate, dealing with just so many different problems. And it's the same problems. Like Biggie said, more money, more problems.
It would make me, the reason why I brought that up is because if we eliminate everyone's status in this conversation, we remove titles when it comes to Will and Jada, is this maybe from your vantage point just two broken people or people that have their own issues that are just in this relationship of sorts, not even saying marriage, just two broken people with a relationship that have decided to move forward in a partnership? Like, is that what we're seeing at play? Because you're saying that there's been millions spent to spin stories. It's like, what are we not seeing? Is my question mark. Like, and I would love to ask, but I definitely think we should probably keep some things for the book. But what's going on? Is that what's happening? We're just watching two hurt people, two toxic people, somewhat to throw their relationship for the public to comment on it.
Well, you're right about one thing, John, and apparent things. Jada is extremely broken, right? This is a person I've had multiple conversations with, insight about who they are, very opinionated, very dominant in what she says. Like she's like you got to really look into who she is, and she's broken. She's been broken, and she's trying to put herself together, but in trying to put herself together, she's hurting more and more and more and more people. But when you get that narcissism kicked in there with it, right? It's hard to even help yourself. So Jada wants to be loved, and the same for Will. I think that's a big connection with them. Will just want to be loved. Will, has been hurt so much coming up. Oh, he's corny. Will was already get the pretty girl, but the thug got taken. The girl cheats on Will, and so this is before he's even famous. So yeah, it's man. Listen, John. All I can tell you is that as this unravels, it's going to get worse and worse. This is only the beginning. Everybody called me when the slap happened, John, right? Everybody was calling my phone. And when I saw it, I said, you know what? This was ordained by God, period, to show what's done in the dark is going to come to light. And if we look at since that moment happened, a lot of things have been coming to light. You understand what I'm saying? A ton of things have come to light. And for me, it's like when people started, I had so many people calling me, "Oh, can you interview me? I want to do an interview about the slap and da da da." Nah, man, it's like I don't need to talk about that. It's for me, I also feel that it set African Americans back 50 years because Will was the one person non-violent, non-threatening, good person. Now it shows no matter how good, how nice of a man you perceive to be if you're black, at any minute you could snap.
So, this has been definitely insightful. We've heard different rumors over the years, what's going on, what's with the relationship. And it just seems that we're finally getting some things answered, whether it be through some aspects of the truth being bent, not here, but more so from other people. And then that leads us to investigate and talk to people like yourself to really get an inside scoop. Now, with Will, what struck me was that you said that Jada saw Will as a potential lick or a lick. And I think a lot of guys can kind of see that in different relationships. Nice guys. I would say, from my vantage point, Will seems like a nice guy. Someone that's gonna kind of look to appease. That's what traditionally nice guys do. They look to, charm her and maybe so do things out of his own comfort. And I wonder, you know, did Jada see that instantly and said, you know what, I can rock with him? Because everyone keeps bringing up Pac. That Pac was her guy, that was who she really wanted, or that type of guy was what she wanted because he might have been unafraid to challenge her. And Will, she maybe saw him as like, okay, I can rock with him, but I also can get X, Y, Z. My question for you, and with all that being said, do you think Jada was ever envious of Will's career, given that she was in entertainment as well?
Yes, definitely. Jada saw Will as the big lick. You know what I mean? Will was already having financial problems when he got Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was in dire straits financially because he owed the IRS so much money, about to go through a divorce and meets Jada. I fly to LA here. I'm like, dude, I'm like, Will, what are you doing? You buying Ferraris and stuff? Oh no, no, that's what my girl did. So she see the lick. I say, this is the lick, you know. And of course, you can't like a woman that's an actress and your man is the biggest star in Hollywood, there's gonna be a lot of envy. But Will helped Jada get a lot of major roles. Dr. Doolittle, you know what I'm saying? The Matrix. And so like they would listen, Jada was on the booty calls. You know what I'm saying? When she met with, So she was in that, that sludge circuit. She married Will fought to get her to be a leading lady. Period. That was Will's doing. That wasn't because, oh, Jada's a great actress or this, that, and this. No, Will fought for that. Will used his muscle to get her as many roles as he could.
It just makes me think like if we're going with the theme of Will being this nice guy and ultimately Jada kind of being someone that saw an opportunity, it makes me think of to what extent has Will gone out of his way to make sure that no one interfered with her in terms of like another guy approaching her, or, someone talking about her. From your vantage point, what was the reason why did Will slap Chris Rock? Because I've heard that Chris supposedly tried to take Jada on a date, and it so made some people think was it that personal when he slapped Chris Rock? Like, what was your vantage point? Does that have anything to do with why Will would slap Chris Rock?
It is extremely simple. They were separated. Will was trying to do something to have that moment, right? You got to look at it. Will was 3 minutes away from what he's worked 30 years for, the validation of 30 years worth of work. You know what I'm saying? And he saw the opportunity to show this. I'm going to risk it all for you. I'm going to risk everything for 30 years of taking, I'm talking about the abuse that you couldn't believe to get where I am. But I'm going to risk it all to show you how much I love you. Now, we're together. Nobody, now I know, and the other people know that's in the circle that they're not together. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like everybody's saying, oh, man, Will stood up for his wife, right? Those were all the comments the next morning. Or some people was like, oh, man, he fought. Oh, I want a man to do. Well, that wasn't her man. They were separated. Will was looking for the opportunity for the win. He wanted her back that much that he said, I'm going to risk it all. This is the validation that I've been working hard for 30 hard years to do to get this Oscar.
And he was willing to risk that to try to get back the girl.
That wasn't even what I was sitting up there looking. I, I'm like, this guy's a clown. That's my brother, but he is a damn fool. Joker, you not even, but I can't tell nobody. If I told people, they wouldn't believe. Y'all not together. You do this form, this foolish move, thinking you gonna get her, and now look where it got you.
Yeah.
She throwing you under the bus. You the clown. You the mark. You the buster. You are all these things trying to pour, trying to show your love and affection. But dude, if you can't see it, now I gotta show it to you. You got these secrets. I gotta put them out there now. You hurting other people to appease her. Okay, I got you, bro. Because what that say about me?
What do you think the biggest fear is? And this is be as honest as you can. Um, what is the biggest fear you think the Smiths have when it comes to their inner circle?
When you see the amount of hurt that Will and Jada have caused other people, I mean, rushing them, dude, it's going to be mind blowing because a lot of what people don't understand about the book is that I hired two leading private investigators to research information for people who have NDAs and so forth. And people are breaking the NDAs around the Will Smith demonic circle book. They're breaking it because certain things allow you to break your situation. And we hired a lawyer, and the lawyer looked at their NDAs to say this is breakable. We can now break this NDA. So when I tell you a lot of things that from the book are not going to be from my perspective, it's going to be about the people in the demonic circle. We talking about the lawyers, the accountants, and all of that. They do not want the secrets to get out. And I'm telling you, the secrets are they're devious, they're dark, they're demonic, but they're going to come out.
And you say you have a receipt. Will this be stuff I'll be able to see in the book?
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, like I said, in the book, as you reading the book, you're gonna have a QR code, and a lot of stuff you'll be able to see people's former NDAs. You'll be able to see police records. You'll be able to see recordings from that particular person. You know what I mean? So it's a receipt filled book because I can't come out like. Here's the thing. I'm for the last 6 months, I've been out the entertainment industry, right? So you'll see no posts on my Instagram or none of that. I'm moving back to Saudi Arabia. I'm moving to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and I'm doing that in 2024. I'm done with the entertainment business. If I was in the entertainment business, oh no, like they started to try to blackball, right? But it doesn't make any difference now. I'm leaving the entertainment industry and I'm leaving on top. I'm not leaving like, oh man, I'm at the low point. Oh, I can't get no celebrities to post so I can make money. And I'm not. It's a whole a person just go there and say, oh shit, this brother's leaving on top. You understand what I'm saying? I got to do something else with my life. I got to use those relationships to help other people, right? It's like for all these years, I've been using these relationships with all these celebrities for the benefit of myself and my family, which is fine. But sometime in life, you got a greater calling, right? It's like how many nonprofits, how many situations around the world can I use these relationships to help other people, right? And also another reason I'm moving to Saudi Arabia, I can get back on my deen even stronger. It's hard. It's hard being Muslim, not in LA, not smoking, not drinking. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I need to be in a habitat where everybody's praying 5 times a day. I need to be in a habitat where people ain't trying to mess with their husband, somebody husband or somebody wife, and you know what I mean, trying to hurt people intentionally, and hopefully, I'm gonna do a whole new Instagram and everything about my living abroad. What is a day like in Saudi Arabia? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? It's a country with an abundance amount of wealth, and my job is to educate my brothers and sisters over there about plights in America and see what we can do to help because they have unlimited resources. So when we're blessed, we got to now start to bless other people and help other people. And to be honest, one thing I gotta say, and I about Will with that, I got he cement he cemented it was a cement thing. It, he etched that into my horn that you gotta help other people. You have to. And Will lost his way with that. Being with Jada, he lost his way with that. That was the greatest takeaway that I left with Will, being a better Muslim and know I gotta help as many people as I can. That was the takeaway. This is not throwing Will just totally under the bus because he does have good attributes. But like anything, if I work in a fish shop, when I leave that shop, I'm gonna smell like fish. You understand what I'm saying? If I work in a perfume shop, then when I leave that shop, I'm gonna smell like perfume. Well, if you hanging with the devil, then you gonna smell like the devil. You start hanging with the devil, then you're gonna start doing devilish things. Period. So hopefully Will can get back on track. Like I say, John, he need to just give her every dime he got because see, and this is another quick thing. We got to look at what we do with our blessings, right? Like Will has been blessed abundantly, right? We need to look at and when we start abusing our blessings, they start to be taken away from us. And one thing about this book, it is about the abuse of blessings.
One thing you mentioned, Will is always down to help. I remember that he actually put you in his book, and he said he was trying to blow you up. Did you have any kind of comments on that? Did that take place at all? Like, as far as the blowing you up? Because this is my first time hearing from you.
Yeah. So somebody reached out and said, "Hey, Will wants to put you in the book," and my response is, "I didn't want to be in the book." Right. Um, Then I get a call from somebody else from his team. Well, Will really wants you to be in the book, and he has you in about 3 or 4 chapters. He wants to put your picture in the book and so forth. And I said, no, I said, let Will tell his story, right? I don't care to be a focal point of his book. And little did I know, I started helping out with the book, right? And I'll get into that um, inside of my book. And he said, I want to put the chapter about, I think it faith? I think it was faith. I want to put you in that chapter, and I want to talk about when you came to Africa and you lost a large amount of weight, and I was reading the Quran a lot. I was getting more spiritual and so forth and so on, and how that motivated him. He said he wanted to have that part in the book, but all that other stuff from once in the streets of Philly, acting stupid, and all those things I didn't want in the book. And it is so ironic that people within the circle was jealous that Will wanted me in the book and to help out with the book, that they even tried to stop. You know what I mean? And I say that was the reason that I didn't want to be in the book at all, because I know the people now that Will have in his circumference are not good people. Period. Are not good people. So I do thank him, for putting me in the book. But now I'm going to put him in my book, and hopefully it'll be of some benefit to him.
Yeah. Such an interesting, turn of events of just one of seeing the timeline of Will putting out his book and the great conversation that came from that from him. And then now we hear Jada's, run is now coming and that's causing its own conversation. And then now you have an insider being able to fill in some of those blanks that the Smiths probably don't want necessarily put out there. In conclusion, being that you've known Will for this long, you don't know how far this conversation will reach. Let's say Will was watching this particular conversation. What would you tell this former friend, you know, about where you are in your life, and what would be that message in overall when it comes to this project and this book?
Well, number one, it would be, Will, I hope that the things that are detailed in the book, that that are detailed in the book with receipts, that you come forth yourself and let people know what you've done, the things you've done, so I don't have to put up. Period. It's not a long answer. It's not this and that. Dude, you got to atone for all these things that you've been doing in the dark. It's to come to light, hurting me, other people, this person, that person, because you're following someone. So, I can't, everybody's blaming Jada. Will has to take some accountability as well, too. Period. I hope that we don't have to put out the door. Like you got people calling me making death threats. You got people calling me telling me they're gonna F me up. Da, 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 da. Like this is crazy. Like this is absolutely crazy that I'm dealing with this. You understand what I'm saying? So the easy remedy to Will is you come out. You know what's going to be in the book. You come out with it. That's it. So that was my to my thing with Will and the Jada. That's my next thing.
Yeah. I've enjoyed this conversation, even kind of preparing for it. I didn't know what to expect of how deep we would go, but I think that you've laid up a good, a good perspective of what is taking place. So I appreciate you for joining us on this conversation. Um, Man, we'll see how this plays out. There seems to be a new headline every day when it comes to Will Smith and Jada, and we just hope that more things can be brought into the light, because that's what our platform's about. That's why we were definitely open to having you on our show. And yeah, I appreciate you for joining us.
Well, in closing, I want to say thank you. You've done a tremendous job with growth of your channel. Um, I know that I'm going to be back. This is my first interview, first, Will assistant, friend of 40 years. this is my first time ever speaking, and I just want to just let your viewers know that I chose you because I feel that you have that factor, right? Is when you understand talent, you can look at people. I feel you had that it factor, and I wanted to be a brother who got the first opportunity to do, because I'm not doing this to sell no books. You know what I'm saying? I wanted other people to see us, that we can work together, that we can have intelligent conversations. But we start promoting the book, Will Smith, The Minded Circle, next week. And that's when the buffoonery is going to begin. It's not going to be a tame conversation. You and I, people really want to start digging into the book and the receipts that we're going to let out and so forth and so on. So hopefully y'all have me back.
We definitely will have you back. I appreciate those words. It kind of inspires us to keep going, which is a big motto here for us. And it made me kind of talking with you, realize that there is appreciation that you have for Will and Love. I think more so, in a weird way, this feels like a love letter of sorts, of like,
Yes.
here's my, hey friend, I'm gonna do this move because hopefully it will wake you up and stop the madness. At the beginning of this interview, people probably were like, oh, he's trying to get a lick himself. It's going to be a perception. But I hope that as they hear this out, it seems like it's a friend that sees a lot of pros in doing this, even though it's such an aggressive move, to kind of put that out there. Especially the title, when I saw it, I was like, damn. like, because you don't put those together with Will Smith. So, I just wish you the best and continue to move with your journey, how you feel moving to Saudi Arabia. It sounds really awesome. And I think that's stuff that we all reflect on of doing one day, which is to not be so bound by work and having to be a slave to what other people's perceptions for you should be. So it seems like you're finding your freedom, finding your path, and continued blessings.